The following headline is from ESPN.com. 3 charged with fraud, forgery, perjury. Phoenix. The oldest brother of former boxing champion Michael Carbajal has been arrested for allegedly defrauding his estranged wife of joint assets worth $750,000, police said. Danny Esquer Carbajal, 54, who once worked as his brother's manager and trainer, was taken into custody Wednesday along with his 2 daughters, Josephine Carbajal, 35, and Celia Carbajal, 24. The women are accused of posing as their mother and forging her name on bank documents, said Sergeant Lori Williams, a spokeswoman for the Phoenix Police Department. All 3 were booked on charges of fraud, schemes, forgery, and perjury. Celia Sally Carbajal, 50, and her boyfriend Gary Best, 54, were found shot to death in the parking lot of her apartment complex in February. Police have yet to identify any suspects in the slayings. Police said Sally and Danny Carbajal separated in 2002 and he filed for divorce in 2003. Sally Carbajal never knew about the divorce and never responded, but a judge allowed the divorce in December 2013. Days later, records show Danny Carbajal changed the couple's property deeds to show him as the sole owner, and the assets were worth $750,000. Police believe Danny Carbajal told the court that Celia lived at his address, so all the divorce paperwork was sent to him. In 2004, police said Sally Carbajal attempted to file for divorce but learned her husband had already been granted one. A judge overturned the divorce and the couple's case was scheduled to go to trial on February 28th, 3 days after she and Bess were killed. Michael Carbajal, 37, was a 4-time WBC and IBF junior flyweight champion who retired in 1999 with a 49-4 record, including 33 knockouts. I seen all of this unfold while I was in prison. And I have to admit that as it's all unfolding at the time, and I'm locked up on that first case for, those shootings they're all my victims in that case. I start seeing it all unravel, 93, 94, 95. I start seeing, karma is what I call it. And I remember how jovial I was, how much I would laugh about things that were happening. You know what I'm saying? This would occur later. I was actually locked up again on when that happened. This happened right here with Danny. But like I said, I remember being in there and like, I remember Michael getting arrested in, I think it was Chandler or wherever, drunk, and then, Smitty getting killed in front of, rest in peace, Smitty getting killed in front of Michael's house. And, Yuck shared with me the details of that story. I'd rather it be told by him than me, but, and then there's the record, but I haven't searched for that. I found one article online on it. I'm doing some research now to pull up a lot of stuff. I'm just stuff that's easier to find, easier to hit on. You know what I mean? But karma, man, how it all catches back up with us in the end. You know what I mean? Because like, as far as what I did wrong, right? Like I don't make no qualms about it. I don't make no excuses or nothing. I was in a position and I made decisions, based on raw emotion at the time, and being a kid, is what it is. You know what I mean? And but I've always, for me, it's always been a nagging question in the back of my mind, like, why me? Like, why did I get drug into this? Like, there was none of that shit had nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? But then I start taking the brunt of all of it, and then as a result, everyone in my generation or everybody gets pulled into it. You know what I mean? Because how's it gonna look for everybody? I'm the only one out there riding and getting rode on. Because that's what that shit was like. You know what I mean? Those that were closest to me were taking the most gunfire at the time. Those that were closest to me, that had the closest association to me were they were the greatest targets because they were putting in the most work. You know what I mean? But, karma, me, it begins instantly because I catch my case. You know what I mean? And I got to deal with the consequences immediately. And then there's still the aftermath and fallout, and, still the recovery process that all these years later I'm still going through. But, when you look at what happened after that, especially within that family and in that neighborhood, you know what I mean? And it's sad because, I flash back to 1988 in the hopes that I had in my heart that night that shit happened, you know what I mean? And what I had hoped to wake up to the next day. What up, Joe?
Good.
And that's the OG West Side Crip. But it could have been different. It should have been different. You know what I mean? Like, that's not. I don't think nobody went into that day, that day that happened, thinking that, it was all going to come undone the way it did. Everybody had their own ambitions. You know what I mean? Their own course in life up to that point. Because, like, Benji was already off to college. You know what I'm saying? Lolo was already off to college. A lot of people were already of 18. They had already turned 18, but everybody was, the crew was dissolving itself by nature of the fact that everybody had come of age. You know what I'm saying? So that was one thing. But where we were as kids, you know what I'm saying, at 18 years old, consider the actions of my brother. He's running around with other people his age, and they're drunk and drinking and doing coke, and Lord knows what else they were doing on that day. You know what I mean? Like, we know how it was when we were on our missions, man. They don't stop. In 1 hour, you can be in you could have accomplished 10 different missions, man. You know what I mean? So there's the the consequences. You know what I mean? And the tragedy. Those of us that are still alive today to even go there, man. To even we have to appreciate our lives, man, and we have to appreciate the lives of others, because with exception of those incidents, what did I do, man? It ain't crossed nobody deserved that shit to be pulled into it. You know what I mean? I'll speak more into it in a minute, but yeah, I'm just getting going for the day myself. I'm gonna go chop it up with the OG. You know what I mean? I don't know, let's see. I'll holler at you.